So in this video, I want to address the question of how do you determine or assess the quality of a business school? Well, there's really two factors you want to take into consideration. One is the quality of instruction, and the other is the reputation of the program. And the reputation of the program is going to create all sorts of secondary benefits associated with the business school. So to start with, the quality of instruction, that includes everything about the resources that they offer to facilitate learning. Okay, so most schools are going to have the same textbooks, right, or very similar textbooks or case packets that they'll buy and things like that in their approaches, right? Now, the quality of instructors, that is the knowledge level of professors, whether you have the researching professor track or whether you have more of an in the practice track that teaches most of the classes, and what are their qualifications, right? Your higher tier, more reputable business schools are going to have generally your higher level classes that are focused more on theory application or focused on a specific topic or subject matter taught by your researching professors who research in that field with the help of teaching assistants. And then many of your entry or basic level classes or some of your technical skill classes are going to be taught by in the practice professors who are oftentimes retired executives or highly skilled practitioners in the industry who have come over to academia primarily to teach rather than to be researchers, even if they do produce academic research in terms of pedagogy or practitioner-based stuff within their field. They're going to be more focused on the practicing aspect. So oftentimes when you see lecturers or senior lecturers or assistant associate or full professor in the practice, that's more their focus. Okay. So, that being said, so quality of instruction, look to all the resources that the school has. Oftentimes, it's tied closely with the funding of the school. So, if the school is well funded, particularly in private universities, if they have a large endowment, generally they're going to have tons of resources, and they will have a divided class of in the practice professors who are highly skilled and very valuable, and then they're going to have a class of highly skilled researching professors who focus on knowledge expansion and adding something to the general understanding of their field. Okay, now evidences of quality in terms of instructional quality and things like that. The best indicator is accreditation. Okay, so most business schools are going to be accredited by some source, and most of them are accredited by a regional source. Probably the gold standard among business school accreditations, though, is a national accreditation, the AACSB. It just seems to be the most highly recognized or highly sought after level of accreditation. And accreditation basically says you meet the requirements of that accrediting organization, which can be very strenuous in terms of assessment methods, outcomes, objectives, learning objectives, outcome objectives, input objectives, things like that. So it's highly intricate system of assessing the inputs and outputs of the school, of the program, of whatever goes into the business school. Okay, so once again, AACSB is the kind of gold standard, but these regional accrediting bodies are very valuable as well. Okay, and so next is the reputation of the school, and reputation generally is tied closely, more so than teaching quality. Teaching quality tends to come in there. But the reputation of the school is primarily based on rankings. And rankings are based on some readily identifiable factors. Number one is the research output of the professors. Okay, so your R1 institutions, meaning your top flight research universities, they tend to have a more well-known, well-understood reputation than others. Harvard, Stanford, or on the public school side, your Berkeley, Virginia, Michigan, those types of programs are highly respected, well-regarded R1 institutions where there is a whole class of professors who may have chaired titles behind their names. that type of thing that focus heavily on research in a given field and expanding the knowledge base in that field. They don't teach a lot, right? They're expanding the reputation of the university based upon their research, right, that they churn out. And then, so there's that, number one, research output. Then you look at things like the qualifications of students getting in, their test scores, their high school GPAs, things like that. Then you look at career services. What is the starting salary of recent graduates within 3 months of graduation? What is the bonus? What industries are they in? That type of thing. So you'll look, once again, first at research, then at the quality of the student body type thing. Then they'll look at some other things like secondary resources that the school offers, uniqueness of programs, class offerings, things like that. But there's certainly a huge advantage for the well-funded, endowed, or larger R1 schools because rankings oftentimes are judged based on the perception of other professors, which is very tilted towards the academic output, the research component. These schools that garner the best reputation there and are ranked the highest generally are those that put out more research and things like that. And it's not as focused on specific quality of instruction. But because the reputation is better, higher quality or more diligent, I will say, students with better test scores, higher GPAs, things like that will apply to those schools. Employers see the reputation that corresponds with student profile and research output. They recruit more at those schools than others. There are so many companies in the United States that only recruit at certain schools based upon quality, right, type thing. And that, take your McKinsey's, your Boston Consulting Group, things like that, highly respected companies like that depend on highly qualified students, graduates, as employees. Well, sometimes they just recruit at your Harvard, Stanford, Yale, Chicago, Pennsylvania, NYU, Columbia, those types of schools. And that being said, that employer-based recruiting there, it ups the qualifications of the graduates. It means a more successful alumni base. There's more giving back to the school. The endowment goes up. So it's a very circular process that truly begins with having strong researching professors at the school, which once again usually only happens when the school has the funding to have those researchers there as chaired positions. That is, in addition to their school salary, there's a chaired portion of their salary that's paid for from the private endowment. So they're highly compensated, produce a lot of output through their PhD program. Basically they're mentoring or guiding of other PhD students in the PhD program. Their output that they churn out themselves, that type of thing, relates to reputation, relates to students coming, relates to employers coming, which once again, more money and more, and it's a big circle that continues on and on. Okay, but so depending on what you're looking for, right, in terms of quality of business school, do you need a school that's going to be able to do more for you in terms of career services and career opportunities on the other side? A more reputable school is going to be advantageous. If you're looking for quality of instruction, well, you may find a school that's small with not much of a reputation nationally that has amazing instructional resources and a one-on-one feeling, small class sizes, things like that may be more beneficial to you. So you have to understand what benefits you're looking for from the school to assess the quality. But these are the factors primarily that you should consider or should review at least when making a decision of what school is right for you or whether a program is quality or not.